with actor, producer, podcast guy, Cole Stratton. Tell me about your podcast, Pop My Culture.
Well, it's about to be 2 years old in March. It's a fun, goofy conversation on movies, TV, gossip, whatever, with myself, my co-host Vanessa Ragland, and our celebrity guests.
And how often is the podcast?
It's about every 10 days. We say it's a weekly-ish podcast because trying to put them out every week was too ambitious to get guests lined up, and 2 weeks felt like forever between them. So about 3 a month every 10 days or so.
What have been some of the highlights of it so far?
It's all been a pretty surreal experience. We were named the #2 best comedy podcast in Rolling Stone pretty early on. I think we had maybe done like 30 episodes at that point or whatever, so that was pretty out of nowhere, and it's kind of all taken off from there. We've had a lot of great, amazing people on. I'm a big movie nerd. I worked at a video store for a lot of years, so I get to meet a lot of my acting heroes and stuff like that. So
anyone in particular that you were really excited for?
Well, this one's going to sound kind of random and weird, but I had made a statement on the podcast that I wanted to get Eddie Deason on, who was he kind of was the quintessential nerd in all the 80s movies. He played Eugene in Grease. He was in Midnight Madness, War Games, a bunch of other stuff too. So I set out to get him on, and I managed to do it, and it was a fun, quirky, weird interview. So that was kind of fun and surreal in a weird way.
Wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so, what do you prefer to talk about? What are your favorite topics? Is there something in particular?
I always like movie stuff. What's fun, and it's a good balance between me and my co-host, is we kind of run both sides of the spectrum. She's really into the tween shows like Hannah Montana. She's in her 30s, but whatever. And she likes a lot of the gossipy stuff, and I tend to be more like a child of HBO from the 80s, so I like to talk about those 80s flicks and that kind of thing too. So no matter what our guest wants to talk about or is familiar with, one of the two of us, if not both of us, have a knowledge of. So it works pretty good.
And you're also a founder of the San Francisco Sketch Comedy Festival?
Yeah, SF Sketch Fest, San Francisco Comedy Festival. It started as just a sketch comedy festival early on, and then it kind of blew up, and now we just do everything funny.
What inspired you to start the festival?
I was in a sketch group with 3 of my friends from college called Totally False People. There wasn't a real place for sketch to be because there's not really venues for that. So we rented a theater with 5 other local troops and called it a festival, and it sold out. It took out from there, and now we did 106 shows over 3 weeks this past year. This is our 11th year, and it's just turned into this crazy star-studded thing that's still run grassroots style by 3 of us. So.
Wow. And where do you host it? It's in San Francisco, but whereabouts in the Bay Area?
We do a bunch of different venues. I think we had a dozen venues or so, ranging in size from 50 seats to 1,400 seats, depending on the show. So, and on any given night, like a Friday night, there'll be a dozen shows running in a bunch of different venues. So.
And where do you expect the festival to be heading in the future?
Gosh, we don't really know. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger every year. We get these great lineups, and then we're like, well, how do we top that next year? And then somehow we manage to. So I think it's just going to keep expanding and taking over the comedy world, so to speak.
And are you continuing with sketch comedy yourself?
I don't do that so much anymore. I do a lot of improv because you don't have to prepare. You just show up and do it, which I like. Sketch writing can be a bit of a bear, but I still do it from time to time. But between the podcast and improv and stuff, I'm staying constantly active in the comedy scene. So. Okay,
great. And where's the best place to check out the podcast? And do you have a website as well?
Yeah, you can go to popmyculturepodcast.com. It's also on Nerdist. It's part of Chris Hardwick's Nerdist network. So if you go to nerdist.com and click podcast, it's there, and it's on iTunes. So you can find it most places that they hold those kinds of things.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Cole, and best of luck with the festival and with your podcast.
Thanks very much.
I'm Katie Uhlmann reporting for TTN-HD Production Live.